For the next 100 days, I'm gonna be hunting down every mob in Minecraft. I will have the ability to take over any mob that I kill and use that morph to help me survive. My goal is to kill every single creature in the game, ranging from a simple creeper all the way to facing up against the warden in an ancient city. Will I survive long enough to get there? Watch to the end to find out. I loaded in on day 1, ready to get to work. I grabbed some wood from a nearby tree and headed down to secure stone for my basic gear. Once I had some stone tools, I spotted a lovely cow. Well, not so lovely anymore. But if I just do this, I'm now that cow. And I've just collected one of the many mobs I'll be looking for throughout this 100 days. I also look kinda cute. Have you ever seen a cow on a tree? Well, now I'm a cow on a tree. Was a cow on a tree. And holy cow, pun intended, I lost more than half my health from that stun. And we've just learned one of the worst things from this challenge. With every transformation, my health stays the same. So even if I'm a human again, I'm stuck at these hearts and I need to find food fast. While looking around for animals, I spotted some wolves happily killing off some sheep for me. Not that I approve of the baby kill. So I sorted out the issue by avenging it and taking over the wolf's body. His brother totally had no idea I took over the man's body, and yes, I wasted food on this joke. Mentioning food, I totally forgot my mission and tried to go caving. While inside, I spotted a creeper, who I took down swiftly and I'll be using as a major morph early on in this challenge. Speaking of which, smile, some mobs actually have abilities to go along with them. The creeper is one of the best, dealing a huge amount of damage with a single explosive. And if you haven't been keeping track, I'm now up to 4 morphs on day 1. Not too bad. Wait, 5 morphs. With those collected, I headed into the mines to gather some iron, grabbing quite a bit until I ran into a bat above me. I used the creeper ability to jump at it and get the 6th morph. I turned into the bat to check, and yes, I can fly. But with 3 hearts, I doubt I'll be using it that much. However, my peanut brain screwed me over as I had no food and 3 hearts now. Thankfully, when I noticed my predicament, I saw a few diamonds, 2 to be exact, and that's just the start. While in the cave, I hunted down zombies as my only source of food, which worked great as a creeper since nothing targeted me and I could kaboom all of my prey, as well as grabbing diamonds on every single level. In total, I got 18. Plenty for me to consider surfacing so I can look for a place to settle down. Upon getting up to grass height, I emerged with full iron at... wait, you can't see my armor. Here, now I have full iron armor with tools and 18 diamonds to my name. Pretty good haul for now since it's only day 2. But I'm starved, so to solve the issue, I gave vegans a heart attack by killing a ton of animals. Cows, sheep, pigs, pretty much nothing was left alive. But after such a festive killing spree, I spotted a new building, the revamped Pillager Outpost. It's gonna be much harder than before and it looked like a factory. I spotted a lonely villager caged up, but I'm no hero, so he can stay here for all I care. I had loot on the brain. Before going in, I made sure to kill a guard out front, then disguise as him so in case anyone saw me, they won't suspect a thing. I entered and the building seemed empty, so I took time to grab a single emerald from a chest and take some hay bales. Pushing on, I found a crossbow, which really made me look like I belonged. Then I found the kitchen, which had a huge stove, probably because they eat like people or something. I don't know. I borrowed it to cook my own kills anyway. While that was going on, I also found a few diamonds and a goat horn, which I have no idea what it does, but I guess it's kind of cool. Before I left, I was annoyed by a loud spider. Come to find, the basement was utterly full of them. So to continue my quest for every mob in the game, I slayed all the spiders and continued on my way to find even more diamonds. After the entire looting trip, I left with almost half a stack of diamonds and emeralds. Night was probably going to be harsh, but I did end up letting that villager go. Why I didn't kill him is beyond me. I need to collect every morph, and I just decided, whatever. Maybe I'm growing as a person. Probably not. The rest of my night was finding a new house. This one was guarded by a lot of mobs, but once inside, I was able to steal some more hay and sleep this long night away. Day 3 was a lot less of a mess. I wasn't able to collect anything from the list, but that wasn't my goal. Home was. I ventured on to find a small tower with villagers inside, but it's not big enough for what I was looking for, nor did it have many villagers. So I left in search of a bigger prize. Lo and behold, only after a few minutes of travel, I stumbled on to the largest Squidward tower in this mod pack. Of course, I knew this was home, so I slapped down all my equipment and began setting up base, only for all the Squidward squads to come and roll up and take my appliances for jobs. I think this is getting out of hand, guys. No matter, because while I was setting up base, I found the perfect spot to build in, the side of a hill across the lake. That's where home will be. The next few days were meant to be used to gather resources for my build, which is kind of why I no-lifed the forest for a little while. I was probably just watching anime and forgot to stop deforesting. I can't ruin the environment so early in the video. Anyway, after that, I began thinking about the build. I wanted it to be sticking out of the wall or mountain or hill, whatever you call this thing, so it doesn't require as many resources. Although, as you know, I have to make everything difficult. I wanted to build it out of amethyst, one of the hardest blocks to locate in a short time frame. But I set off on the mission. After mollywopping a drowned and using his skin as my own, is this serial killer behavior? I looked better than he did anyway. That's already 11 morphs down, but these are just easy ones. Wait till I have to kill an Elder Guardian or the Warden. Not looking forward to that one. Back on task, I began searching caves for the broken geodes with no such luck. At one point, I tried looking through the ocean as well to see if there was any on the surface, but nothing. All day of searching with no clue where to get any amethyst. But it all changes when I saw a floating island in the sky. This is one of the builds from the mod pack that I had no idea was here, and obviously it's not my intended target, but come on, who wouldn't be curious? I made my way up to find a very welcoming entrance. See what I did there? With emeralds and gold blocks. It was all too promising, but I found a book telling me that this was once a king's throne and that a dungeon resides below. So I checked it out, and sure enough, a trap with observers are held underneath a floor of bamboo. And I'm sure if I break it, the dungeon location will become apparent. Oh look, there it is. I broke it all by hand and continued to grab my compensation, but the dungeon still piqued my curiosity. Not only did I just get a new cave spider morph, but zombie villagers were down there as well, another thing I still have to cross off my list. So I descended and began slaying all of the mobs. There were a lot of them. Once inside the dungeon, I broke the spawners in most rooms, then looted a chest. The first room had a golden apple and some iron. Then I found one with mostly gold in it, and finish it all off, one of the last rooms had another book. This was the Dungeon Chief's journal, and I skipped most of it, but what I did read, there was a surge of monsters on the castle, and the king was locked upstairs. This is a lot of lore for me to process, but I headed up, finding a webbed-off room with some terrible chests inside, but just above was the king's final message and loot. I got another golden apple, and that's pretty much it. For such a lored-up place, not much amazing loot, but hey, loot's loot. After escaping, I began my ocean search for a geode once more, with literally no luck. I didn't find what I was looking for, but I did find a massive pirate ship off the coast. This thing was like the Black Pearl on steroids. At first, I thought it was safe because no one was on board, but once I got into the captain's quarters, life quickly changed. A stray attacked me, but in doing so, it gave me another morph, making that 14. I turned into a creeper so I wouldn't get killed and headed into the brig, the bottom, the basement, what's the downstairs of the ship called? Anyway, the ship was pretty big, and it had a lot of spawners to run through and take out. But in doing so, I found the treasure room. Tons of gold, diamonds, emeralds, and iron just waiting for me down here. However, that doesn't even compare to the chests and barrels that were right outside. There were way too many to just go over, but they also gave me many ores and golden apples from my journey. I may not have found what I was looking for, but this was still a major success. On my way back home, I got very, very lost. I should have written down the chords, but I didn't think ahead, so I kind of wandered aimlessly through the wild for an entire day. Day 9, I woke up to a party. Not sure what happened here last night, but I'm out. However, day 9, I worked on a bit of the house, and by that, I mean I laid out a foundation for it. I haven't played Minecraft in over a month or two at this point, so I had zero hope for the design. But after adding a dock and finishing the exterior part of the house, I saw a bit of promise. But I was pooped and it was time to sleep with the villagers. Wait, not like that. The next day, holy cow, guys, there is one of me, please relax. Anyway, I was still on the hunt for amethyst and moss. I was hunting down the world's caves to find any hope of the bright purple block. Took me some time, but once I found it, I went ham. I spent so long just mining out the inside of each geode, first stripping away the lovely sounding amethyst, then I for some reason wanted the quartz looking block, oh, what's it called? I wish I knew what I was doing while scripting these voiceovers, but I actually forgot the name of the thing that's right in front of me. Oh, please, someone comment down below what this block is called. Maybe later I'll remember what the block is and call it correctly, but for now, let's just move on. I did this with 2 different geodes because I have no idea how much of this substance I'll be needing, and after spending like 4 days looking for it, I stocked up. After that mining quest ended, I reprioritized and went for diamonds while I was 60 feet underground already. I also wanted to get some levels because I was only like a Sprite can away from level 30. Not that I had the ability to enchant, but I was thinking ahead. Probably the first time I've ever done that. Anyway, after that brief mining trip, I went back home with all of the new resources. Back to work on the house. I was able to add the amethyst roof I originally wanted. Then I added in my signature pop-out window, which isn't mine. It might be. I actually can't remember if I made it or if I watched it. Then I started to decorate the walls outside my base and make it look like the house was in a mine. But after only a small bit of work, I headed into the forest to grab some leaves for decor, which reminded me, still haven't found a lush cave yet, so I began that venture. At the end of the day, I stumbled onto a small villager tower and found a baby villager wedged between a chest and a wall. We agreed that it was time and I chopped it up with my axe. Was it wrong? No. I hate villagers, and that was totally a nod I got from the parent, so we're on the same page. After not finding an azalea tree while flying around in bat form, I began to lose out hope. But out of the corner of my eye, I spotted different colored grass. Thankfully, I finally found the place. Not that there was much to offer, but I did get an axolotl friend who I have no idea what to name. Then I got to work grabbing everything in this biome that I could. I may have broken the hoe that I used, which sucked, but I probably had enough. Fun fact, while I was here, I marked off 2 new morphs, the tropical fish and the axolotl. Both died in the line of duty, if swimming mindlessly was duty. After all that, I went back home to finish up the exterior house. I added the moss to pretty much everything, the roof, the walls, the floor. The interior was also a different story. I had to mine out quite a bit to get the design I wanted. First, I made the roof out of moss, and then worked on the chest area. Gotta have some organization in these videos, learned that from a friend a while ago. After like an hour's worth of work, I pretty much had nothing. So to finish up the build quickly, it'd be easier if I just did this. I grabbed birch for the walls, then tended to the oddly placed spruce floor. After that, I made an enchant setup with moss everywhere, but with such a random space, I had no idea what to do here, until I began work on the kitchen and the upstairs bedroom. With everything done, that concludes my house for now. To give myself a break, I chopped more wood and killed some drowns. A nice stress relief, actually. Days 19 and 20 were kinda spent fulfilling my own personal goal of worldwide domination. To do that, I ventured into the Nether. Not before making the portal look nice though. I have to have consistency in these videos. In the Nether, I forgot that I could technically fly and just bridged over the impending doom below. The local residents were not happy that I was there. Thankfully, they disappeared. That's weird. Anyway, I made my way over to the Nether fortress for my intended target, a blaze. This thing allows me to fly at full health and shoot fireballs, which was great for burning the locals. I'm evil, I know. But I also grabbed some potion stuff and headed back. That's when the real nightmare began. Every cow, every pig, and every tree, it didn't matter, I killed them all. It was actually pretty fun, and helpful to the challenge as I secured the horse morph, which I had thought I got already, but I guess I didn't, and fire was the solution. Day 21, I got up with the goal of Bastion hunting. Another amazing morph I need right away is the Brute. That thing is strong, so I'm gonna go after that with the strength potions I made from our previous trip. As a blaze, it was easy to find the extremely ugly building, but when I got there, I couldn't have prepared for what I could do. Every piglin was after me, and not after me at the same time. It sounded like, this. Yeah, basically cancer. To solve that, I just killed them all and took their stuff. I got a Fortune 3 pig, which was great. Then after that, I was able to kill a brute, adding another mob to our list. After the first bastion, it does get repetitive, so I'll just give you the gist. I stole gold, killed a hoglin, and listen to this. Fun day. Once home, I was able to use the levels I had gathered to combine an efficiency 4 and unbreaking pickaxe with the fortune one I just looted, making a lovely addition to the 100 days. I also got a nice diamond set started with prot 3 on the chest and fire protection, oh boy, on the helmet. Okay, well to finish the night off, I did make a god axe into netherite. You probably questioned why I don't use a sword, and my answer is, I don't know. Color me shocked, but the next day, the British arrived. The problem was, though, if I got bad omen, life would be over, me dead, villagers not alive, world gone, Chick-fil-A not open on Sundays. Why? Anyway, to counteract this, I turned into a pillager to kill the raid captain. Did I think this would work? No, not at all. Did it? Yeah. I somehow Paul revered the British and didn't get bad omen. I saved the day, basically, that's what I'm saying. After that, it was finally time to get some trades done. I grabbed all of my wood and headed over to the giant tower full of people. I won't make any jokes. The first thing I began rolling were librarians, which first gave me feather falling 4. So I bought it and continued the journey. Unlucky me, I got no other trades this day. but I wasn't finished. Continuing my philanthropic efforts, I traded away all of the wood I had for more emeralds and once again re-rolled the librarians. This time I got protection 4 for only 17 emeralds, which is great, but even for what I have, it's still an arm and a leg, which means I was back to deforestation, easily being one of my favorite hobbies. However, this one's not. Villagers aren't cool. But mending for 10 emeralds is. Basically what I'm saying is for that entire day, all I did was re-roll trades, cut down some trees, and get really good books. Day 24 was much in the same. Deforestation, ruining the planet and all, trading away all natural resources for more expensive jewelry, and donating my time to the worthwhile librarian cause, which I got nothing from. As shocking as it may sound, I started off the next segment of days the exact same way. You won't believe me, but I swear I'm not going crazy. You are. I did eventually break the cycle by getting a breaking from a librarian, which is great because it's been 3 days. 3 days of torture, 3 days of no happy, 3 days, not half days. It's been 3 days without water. It's been long enough with this joke. Thankfully, with all of my armor and enchants done, Bought's probably a better word. I was able to begin the combining process so that eventually when I have enough levels, I will have maxed out diamond gear. Wow, we are finally progressing, and I swear I will not chop more trees. So, to end off day 27, I chopped some more trees. Okay, I promise soon I will do more than this, but day 28, I chop trees. Look, there is a goal, okay? I need the trees for villager trades for levels to combine my diamond armor so I can live against, like, other mobs in the game. I still have to collect all of those, remember? I bet it's already slipped your mind, because I haven't done many fights, huh? But what am I supposed to do against this? Am I supposed to fight this with iron armor? Do you think the warden's gonna let me live while I have iron armor on? No, okay? So stop your complaining and watch me break a tree or two, alright? Heck the environment. Finally, day 29. Like I said, I would break the cycle, and that day is not today. Did you happen to want to watch me break a tree? Because that's all I did today. Only so that on day 30 days in, I was able to finish my armor. You can even tell me I don't look swag. I look great right now. And I did kind of do more of our mission today. Thankfully, a man by the name of PWD came by and said hi. His name stands for Pig Who's Dead. Just came up with that. By coming through the portal, he saved me the hassle of making an entire dimension mad at me, and now I have a new morph. So technically I did do work on day 30. His death actually inspired my next 2 days. I wanted to finish up a very important task. The Nether is a dangerous place with some amazing mobs that I can use at my discretion. So I wanted to conquer the entire Nether right away and get every single mob, starting with an Enderman, which may not be amazing, but he still can be used. Then I went for, oh man, I forgot this guy's name again. What is it? It's something to do with an S. I can't even remember. Okay, never mind. Whatever, I'll figure it out. These short boys allow me to walk on lava, which is super cool. But like I said, I'm short. Shorter than you, Daniel. For like 500,000 people, that'll make no sense. But for one lucky guy, I'll ruin his day. Next up was a wither skeleton. Not helpful in the slightest, but another name off the list. I feel like Season 1 Oliver Queen, crossing off names off the list to save my city, or, you know, I guess. Moving on, I killed a magma, which was as exciting as it sounds. Lastly, I used the Blaze Morph to scout out a ghast, which I'm about to have fun with. In the overworld, that is. I kinda just terrorize civilians by being a giant white floating cloud that shoots fireballs. Day 33, I looked over the water and realized I hadn't even killed a salmon or squid yet, so of course I didn't fix this issue and re-rolled more villagers. It worked out in my favor because I got a Sharp 5 book. I added that lovely enchant to my axe, making me feel utterly invincible. At least enough to kill some fish. Is a squid a fish? It's in the water, so technically it can be a fish, right? If you just believe. The rest of my day was spent carving out and making a villager hall. Day 34 was all about the villagers, specifically imprisoning them. My idea is to have a mine. Also, don't ignore the fact that I sound so happy right now. I'm imprisoning villagers. It's so fun. My idea is to have a mine-looking thing going into the side of the mountain next to my house. I set up the side with spruce wood separating each cell. Yes, this is a prison after all, but I still added some really cool stuff like a sick geode floor and a moth amethyst ceiling. It looks nice enough to live in. Therefore, is it really a prison? I'm desperately trying to justify having a... Never mind, I'm not. It's definitely a prison, but it still looks cool. Day 35 started off with me chopping some trees. Since you've seen me do this before, I'm gonna leave in 10 seconds of pure chopping. Did you enjoy that? No, me neither. Cool. Moving on, other than just the destruction of the environment, I moved my chaotic tendencies into the skull of a wandering trader. He had nothing good and I needed the more. Oh, and his poor Lamar, he had to follow too. So sad. But too freaking bad. Day 36 and 37, I was moving villagers into their cells. It was not fun as most of them wanted to leave, flee to the real world, if you will. I couldn't let that happen though, and trumped up the beach with my own version of the fantasized Mexican border. No one's getting past my wall. Eventually, I brain celled up and made a dock where I can pass under and make sure that the villagers go into the prison. And I only had like 1 or 2 issues of escape. Who knew villagers could swim so well? Or just drown? Maybe this was their way of telling me they didn't want to do this and they preferred death over me. Fair point, but guess what? Didn't matter, because by the end of the day, all the cells were full. With them now occupied, I could freely trade with the villagers for emeralds. Even though some didn't love the arrangement by refusing to take the job, I was able to trade in the wood that I had, which ignited my rich blood, therefore making me want more emeralds. Surprisingly, I chopped trees to accomplish such a task, which is fine, because it's been a day since like the last time I did this, which is plenty of time for you guys to get over it. In fact, I'm sure you want more. Honestly, leave a like down below if you want 100 days of me chopping down spruce wood. Actually, comment it too. Tell me directly that you want to see me spend 30 hours of my life up a spruce tree, because I'll do it. Actually, next video? Okay, it's been a minute since I fulfilled my duties and found mobs to kill and absorb and become, so the next 2 days were spent doing just that. I became a blaze so I could fly around and search for the easy mobs I have still not checked off my list. One being a cod, the fish, not the game. Someone killed that already. But my cod was shot dead in the water by fire. Don't ask me to explain that, I don't know anything. Next up was a dolphin, and since I can't fight him from the sky, I turned into a brute and dived headfirst into certain death. Dolphins can actually fight back, and I was terrified. For nothing, apparently, because he just died instantly. Fun fact, I still haven't killed the chicken. I was kind of just trying to get some food, but somehow the little rat evaded me for 40 days. Next up was the iron golem, who is easy to kill, sure, but not if you face him head on. Once again, I popped a stimmy and became a brute and tried to one-punch the man, which did not work. I'm in danger. Luckily, I was able to slay the beast, but not without needing a change of pants. At this point, the video took a turn. A scary realization flipped the script as I had just killed a sheep, but the message popped up. I had collected its morph. I'd already killed a sheep ages ago, yet 40 days later, I got the same message again. This is because I needed to collect every color of the sheep for some reason, which means the challenge just got that much harder. Not to say that colorful sheep is hard to get, but the fact that I have to, I just don't really want to kill all of them. After that realization, I crossed a donkey off my list, then found a snowy-ish biome which allowed me to place a pumpkin I had gotten earlier to kill the snow golem. But I still had a few more things to do, so let's speedrun it. I killed a brown sheep at a village, discovered that cats also have variants I need to kill, and then got 2 of them, then finished up my journey with a black and light gray sheep. I have now killed all of the naturally spawning sheep. Well, except for the pink one. But if you think I'm doing that legit, you're dead wrong. Ain't no one got time for that. Days 41 through 42 were spent in the Nether. It's time I traded my hard-earned stolen gold for some ender pearls, or most likely, anything but ender pearls. I figured the best place for this would be a Bastion, as it just screams sell the civilians back their belongings at an inflated rate. How a building can say that, I have no idea. But it worked out in my favor, as plenty of piggies were happy to see the bright shining yellow texture. I sat here for way too long, and since this sucked for me, I'm gonna make you wait too. So let's spread some interesting knowledge. Hot dogs are not good in juice. Bacon comes from pigs. Pigs are also not good in juice. After a long enough time, I had the items I wanted and was able to get home. One thing I got was a Soul Speed 3 book, which when I added to my boots, makes me go brr in the Nether. I have no good way to end this segment and transition to the next day, so random word here. Frog. Day 43, I began expansion on the villager trading hall. I need more books and more sticks and more food. And golden carrots, and nothing else. I actually only did this for the carrots. So me going through all this trouble and decorating all this, matching it to the theme from before, was for a vegetable. Eat your greens, kids. However, all of that was thrown out the window when I began going for an epic sword. I already have sharpness, unbreaking, and mending, but my main goal was looting. Or fire, if so be. Thus, I had to move over more villagers from a lush, lavish, and cushy life to a 1-bedroom, no bath, 1-block house. The next day, I traded away my hard-earned plunder for some more emeralds, just so I could afford looting for the God Sword. The issue with that is I haven't gotten looting yet, so I spent my time re-rolling librarian trades till it was in my grasp. I added it to my overinflated book, and now all I need is to add it to my sword, which requires one thing. I had to take a day to get more wood. How about instead of being mad at how much wood I cut down in these 100 days, you all go comment W Spruce down below. Then I will know. all this effort, all this work was okay. Glad we're on the same page. Oh, and if you didn't get it, I need levels for the book combining with the sword so the trees make sense. I'm sure you got that actually. Okay, day 47 was great. After I had hit the levels from trading, I was able to make the perfect sword, or at least for now. Sure, it's not max, but what do you want from me? A gold star of perfection? Well, you're not gonna get it because I forgot to log off when I went and made dinner. So today was totally wasted. But hey, you watch me, so this is technically your fault. Even with such a mess up, I had a plan. All of it was worth it as now I can hunt down wither skeleton skulls. Most likely, some of you guessed that already. Or maybe I actually explained it earlier. I don't remember. I'm kind of tired. But the first boss we'll be fighting is the wither. I figured it could be a fun morph to play around with after all. It's the easiest one to do. So the next many days were me spent in a single fortress running around chopping up bony men, in hopes that one of them would have their head screwed off, so I could use it to summon a demonish overlord. Wait, why am I doing this again? However, after my third skull, you know what time it is. You guessed it, tree chopping! Gotcha, didn't I? You really thought I was gonna do 3 days of work just to fight the wither? Nah, I have to savor such a moment, okay? But the real reason is the wither requires a bow, kinda. I want to get/use a bow for the fight, so yes, I'm taking every precaution. But if I was speedrunning the game, I could probably just punch the wither to death. It's really bad. Kind of like how I killed the dragon with a hoe in this video. Oh, I'm spoiling. But yes, chopping trees for emeralds was the fastest way I knew to get XP. And once I had enough, I level 30 to bow. That'll work. Now to just actually kill the wither. I went underground in the most open cave I could and just sank to the bottom of it. Along the way, I didn't get distracted by diamonds and go on a small little trip. But 17 diamonds to my name, and the heads called out to me. Place me down so I can kill you or something. I don't know. Obviously, I obliged and set the little dude up in his hole and backed up. I did turn into a brute for the fight, but I doubt it'll help, especially since the wither does like no damage and is easily a 2 out of 10 boss. As you do, I bowed it, which was very interesting, as you can hear in my voice. Then I stabbed it over and over and over again, like 3 times. It's pretty weak. Once it was dead, I had the power of a wither, even if it's not that much. At home, I wanted to test out this new power, and first off, I can't drown. Not sure why that helps, but it does. Secondly, iron golems do not like me, but they also can't really kill me, which is why I just kind of watched one die with my poison or wither effect. Then 2 more followed closely, but it was night and I had to go home. I did notice one downside, however. I can't fit in the door. While I have been slowly gathering morphs, it's been a minute since I did a last huge hunt or mission for some. So the next few days I targeted every single dye for all the sheep. The main issue I would face would be cactus. For some reason, this game allows red and yellow to make orange, blue and red to make purple, but yellow and blue? No green allowed. I don't get it. However, that gave me the chance to explore the world a little bit. My first stop, every flower known to man. I took a few from around my base, however the real stop was at a flower forest. I know I won't need a ton of flowers, but my brain took over and I was just like, in the forest. I did run into some bees, but I just couldn't kill them. They're way too cute. After I was done, I used my blaze form to fly around the world looking for some deserts or anything cool, which is how I found a giant barber shop. Inside the red and white barber pole, I found many mobs, ores, and chests, so I just ran through the place as it was kind of boring. Each chest was filled with unique items, but the best parts were just finding golden apples everywhere. After I was finished, I continue on to find my prickly foe. In the jungle, I discovered some weird maze-like temple thing. It told me to get out at one point, which made no sense till I saw a zombie holding an iron block. Not sure if that's meant to be powerful or just look funny. I did find diamonds and a book in the chests, but nothing too interesting. Back to flyovers. I thought maybe I had a chance at a panda in the bamboo forest, but no such luck. I would also find many beaches masquerading as deserts, which really sucked, because I thought I was going to find a cactus and I never did. I would also frequent villages along the way in hopes of finding new cats to kill. I'm not sure how many there are in total, but I know I added a bunch to the list by doing this. After days of flying, I found a new structure. It was a little broken down tower with some levers inside. I flicked both of them and it exploded. Sounds fair enough to me. However, there was one hole leading to a little bit more below. I thought it was just spawners and mobs, but little did I know a killer bunny was down there. And that bugger was fast. It was so hard to hit this man, okay? To my own stretch of the imagination, it took me 10 minutes to kill this guy, and I was so happy to have him on the list. For 1, rabbits are rare, and 2, that man dropped fat stacks. Totally not worth the time it took to kill him, but it was still a little fun boss fight. Back on the grind of flying through the sky, your boy finally found a desert. The absolute motherlode. Sand! More importantly, I found the source of green dye. After scooping up as much as I could, I found the worst but bigger version of a desert temple. I say worst because after grabbing gold blocks, the rest of it was lackluster. I did start a riot on the inside between all the skeletons, which was really fun to watch. Then I blew the entire place up by pressing a button. But other than that, how cool is this place really? Finally, the day we've all been waiting for. I can cross one major project off the list. I began by making every single possible dye I could think of, staying away from the ones that I already had, but still, this was a lot. At first, I was just gonna fly around, dye a sheep, kill it, and move on, but after doing that to the blue, cyan, and lime, I changed my mind and decided I would hang the dead sheep on my wall. What? All hunters do it. It's like a rite of passage or something. You hang the kill on your wall, then you drink a beer with your buds, and they look at you like you're totally crazy. Anyway, after figuring out I need to keep the wool, I went back to dyeing and slaughtering all sheep variants. The pink one was probably my favorite, because technically I could have found this out in the wild. But again, who's got the time for that? After all new morphs were had, I collected the Rainbow of Death, and it was time to hang it on my wall. My bedroom seemed like the best spot, and I tried my best to hang it up in some sort of semi-order to keep the rainbow together. I went from blue to red in the best way I knew, then I used purple to get to black, and finished with brown. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do with brown? Where does this go anyway? Makes no sense. That's 16 total sheep crossed off the list. Day 59, I was pretty proud of myself getting all of that done, and I think I deserved a reward, something that no one really wants but me. Can you guess what kind of a break I took? Yep, chop trees. My favorite pastime is to annihilate our world's forests. Or it would be, if I didn't make this one myself. Again, I did use all that wood on purpose though. I was going for a silk touch pick and needed the levels. After a few enchants, I got what I wanted and could attempt my real goal. Netherite. Yes, it was time to rock full netherite and not just the axe. Alright, well after getting down to Y15, you know what happens. I just find netherite after netherite after netherite. This totally didn't take me like an hour to do or anything, and you didn't just watch me do it in 4.2 seconds. Was it 4.2 seconds, by the way? I was scripting this, and I don't know. I wasn't looking at the footage. How long was it? Is my guess correct? By the end of the day, I was able to turn all of my armor and important tools into netherite, and I'll be rocking that purple drip. However, that is not enough purple for me. My next task was to kill the dragon. However, I just don't have the right tools. So I went back to the nether real quick and grabbed another full ingot that I will be using to turn what I'm currently enchanting into the ultimate dragon killing machine. Yes, that's right. I'm gonna kill the dragon with a hoe. To do that though, I needed to find the darn thing, which is why I made the eyes and began my venture into the wilderness. Once I found the stronghold, I mined directly down into the library. Perfect, since I actually wanted books for decoration, and I got a fire aspect book. So I'll finally be able to max out my sword. However, shortly after leaving the library, I ran into a problem. This place is a maze, and it took me so many turns to find the portal. With no time to waste, I hopped in and began the fight. The easiest thing to do was to kill all of the crystals, which took no work at all. The hard part was the dragon. Since I'm using a hoe, I do absolutely no damage. Thankfully, I brought strength potions with me. The first go around went well. I somehow almost got him all the way down to half. Not sure how that's possible, and the second time, I was inches off a clean kill. But the last time he perched, I was able to finish him off with a hoe. Imagine being such a crappy boss you lost to a gardening tool. With that guy out of the way, you know what time it was. Elytra time. The end islands are pretty boring, so I'll just skip to the cool stuff. The first place I went to kinda sucked. With no ship, I didn't really stay long. For some reason, this happened more than once. However, I did end up getting to the right place finally. I fell to the ship and got to work. Obviously, I have the shulker morph now, which is pretty useless, but the real objective was the elytra. After stealing it, I didn't need much from this place, so I kind of just left. But as a blaze this time, since the dragon morph is, well, massive. Once home, I realized I forgot a trophy. Like, how did I forget the dragon egg in the end? Well, that just meant I had to go back, grab it. Can't believe I just did that. Then put it on a barrel at my house. I could have done pretty much anything better in that amount of time. The next day started off with the challenge of getting a laze, a witch, and its cat, and some slime. It was easier than I thought to find an allay. The pillagers kept them as prizes, and I was just able to kill them in the cage. It wasn't the nicest thing I could have done, but I needed the morph. After that, I found myself a witch hut, getting a 2-for-1 special on the inside. Too bad I had to kill a cat for that though. The one regret this challenge provides is the fact that I have to kill so many nice mobs. I'm still not even looking forward to the bee. But the last thing on my list is the slime. So I stuck around till nightfall until one spawned, claimed it, and got the heck out of there. Finally, we're at 70 mobs. Oh, and 70 may seem like a lot, but there's like 100 of them. And you remember the warden, right? Yeah, I've never even killed one before. But I was not done yet. I secretly got Bad Omen from the LA capture, which allowed me to begin a raid. I found a random outpost of the Squidwards on my journey and began the most hectic day of their lives. Each round was super easy, especially as a brute. 20 hearts goes a long way, but if these darn iron golems don't get the heck back, I'm gonna lose it! Getting totems was great, but honestly, collecting each and every pillager type was exactly what I wanted. After that, I returned to my mission of collecting normal mobs. Cats were the hardest, so I have no idea what ones I have. Maybe because I don't care to look, but also because they all look the same to me. Then I took down a parrot, which wasn't that hard. I still can't find a panda in here though. Later, I stumbled into a guardian temple and took down an elder guardian and used its morph to take on the little version. Was that necessary? No, but it was a swift kill. Afterward, I used a cow to take away the mining fatigue debuff, and watching me fly through the air as a cow is probably the best moment of this entire 100 days. The next 7 days began my biggest project yet. I have gotten a ton of mobs over the last 100 days, and I want to display them all. So I constructed a room in my base that took a heck ton of my time. The idea would be sections made specific to displaying an item frame with a drop and the sign detailing every mob that I had collected so far. The longest part was actually making the room. I used calcite. Oh, it's calcite! I remember that from earlier. Oh, I should have just said calcite earlier. Anyway, amethyst and spruce and oak. The entire thing was 2 hallways long with a section of 5 in each display area. Once I was done, I began putting up each trophy I could think of. I don't actually have a list of mobs to kill in the 100 days, nor did I remember exactly what mobs I had killed, but I think I put down a pretty decent few at the time. And as the rest of these days run out, I will continue to add to this section as I think of it. Also, I killed a bee. I'm so sorry. The next multiple days were focused on getting as many trophies hung as possible, as well as planning for my greatest future fight yet. To do that, I headed to a nearby ancient city. I wanted to gather different objects and god apples for the future impending doom that I'm gonna have to face. I stayed as a blaze while I was down there so that I could fly above the radar. Even though I am still vulnerable to the warden spawning, I decided to open every chest in existence. Not the best plan of action, but only 2 god apples to my name, I kind of have no chance of killing the warden. Each chest had a variety of crap inside until I was lucky enough to find my first god apple, followed by a chest with 2 in it, and then another with 2 in it. 5 from one city isn't too bad. And with a dragon killing hoe on my side and a bit of luck, I thankfully never spawned a warden while I was down there. Even if I did, I would have to run. No chance I fight it now. But with that, I returned home to place a few more things. But before I made it back home, I found a horse and a donkey. If you don't know where I'm going with this, try to follow along. First, I made a horse fall in love with me. Then I rode a donkey. That doesn't sound good, but it's true. After that, I made them... You know what? That's not something I should be explaining to y'all. But that did pop out a mule, which I killed, therefore marking him off the list. At home, I added a few more listers to the gallery and went off again. I was out looking for items to hang on my wall, like the seagrass or coral block, maybe even a mushroom block. The journey took a lot longer than that explanation, but each block can be used to outline a new mob on our wall. After these long few days, my walls grew larger, full of trophies, yet I still have so much to do. With my base currently being really small, I need to expand the best room, my accomplishment room. Well, to make it bigger, I had to mine out more area, get a few materials, and build up the design yet again, as well as coming up with a brand new floor design. I basically just used moss to cover the place and add more color to the room. And it actually wasn't that boring because I was watching anime while doing this. I think it was called something, the reincarnation of the world's strongest exorcist or something, I don't remember. It actually wasn't that bad, but it only had like 1 season, so I don't really remember it. With the place looking snazzy, I moved the sheep line up from my bedroom to the new room, which added a nice 16 more trophies to the cause. Unfortunately, I can't do that with the cats since they don't drop unique items. After that, I fished up a pufferfish and made some stone brick to add a pufferfish and silverfish to my wall. Honestly, I can't even remember which ones I have done so far. The sheer amount of mobs in this video is giving me a headache. With only a few days left, I had to go back out in my world and find a few more mobs. I am getting close to being done, but I still have some that have evaded me quite well. First, I headed to the end and killed an endermite, as well as cats while flying around. Still not sure how many there actually are. Then I ran into phantoms of the night, which I somehow haven't spawned up until now, probably because I keep sleeping. And I did finally end up finding a panda, which came as a surprise since they're so hard to find. Next, I AFK'd in the desert till night for a husk, as well as flying around until I saw a mushroom island. This one, I'll regret. I'm so sorry. After that, I killed a polar bear. But who in their right mind lets the child get revenge on you later? So, I had a 2-for-1 special. Lastly, I bred a tadpole. If some of you read my community posts a while back, you'll know that this is my second attempt at this challenge. One thing that eluded me last time was the tadpole, because what the heck is this thing? But this time I had it. After like 20 minutes of waiting, at least, the tadpole finally popped out and I was able to kill it. And that summed up a huge amount of time. Now all I have left is the warden, and maybe a goat or zoglin, but let's leave the emphasis on the warden. Unfortunately, I can't actually do that. Realistically, I do have to go find that goat, a cat, and a zoglin. So to do that, I flew around the world once again, stopping at every single pirate ship in the ocean. Technically, I don't need the loot from these ships, but come on! Both the hull and the captain's quarters have such amazing loot. I looted 3 of these things as well, and I was, rich. After I had some fun stealing from the rich who stole from the poor, I once again began my quest by finding the last cat. Sorry, not sorry. After that, I flew to a mountain and murdered a goat. That time, I'm not sorry. Next up was the Nether. I had to get a zoglin, or at least I wanted to. I don't think I actually needed it for the challenge because I already have a hoglin. Are they classified differently? I don't know. My first attempt was with a baby, and that did not work. Unclear why, after about 15 minutes of working with multiple hoglins, I figured out that I needed to load the portal on the other side. My bad. Once I killed the zoglin, I got an achievement, and it was the first time I had ever gotten this achievement because I don't really play Minecraft for this reason. Although I am curious, why did I get the achievement without killing the warden? However, with every single mob except one done, I headed home and marked them all off on my wall. The only thing left after 98 days is the hardest mob in the game. To prepare for him on day 99, I started by making a ton of strength 2 potions. When I use a totem against him, and trust me, I will, it takes away my potion effect, so having a ton of god apples and strength potions is the only way to kill him. After that, I listened to the ancient city's music disc. I have to say, this is weird. Like, footsteps, weird roar, and then just like music, but it kind of just cuts off here. Honestly, that was the creepiest thing I've ever listened to. Please remove that from the game. With everything in order, I flew to the nearest ancient city. I had to come up with a good plan, so I found the perfect spot and dug an escape tunnel. His blast causes so much damage that if you don't have a long enough tunnel and can run away from it, you'll die instantaneously. After I was ready, I brewed it up. The piglin brute is still the smallest and toughest mob I have, and the extra hearts are gonna save my life. 3 times. All it took was 3 noises to spawn in the scariest mob ever added into Minecraft. And just like that, I was peeing my pants. After way too many potions, way too many god apples, and almost all of my totems used, it was the first time I'd ever killed a warden, and it was earned. Oh, I had finally done it. Every mob was crossed off my list. I cut that way too close. Thankfully, I had done it by sunset. Day 99 was coming to a close, and now I have the power of a warden, which makes me blind. What in the heck is even this? Not cool. I was finally able to mark the warden off my wall of accomplishments as well. A very proud moment indeed. But as night fell, the world has come to a close. My goals are over, and I could hang up my armor as I look over a grateful universe. I didn't steal that from Thanos, you did.